It may be delayed, but it's not forgotten. This is Corey, and this is the O The Anthem podcast.
I've traveled 1,000 miles, and I would travel 1,000 more just to kill all of you with COVID. This is Rob. Welcome to episode 380 of the O The Anthem podcast, coming to you from the hashtag, from all over LA, but Corey is there in the hashtag OTA LA studios, slowly gentrifying Los Angeles, one neighborhood at a time. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for listening on your podcatcher of choice, the easiest way, anchor.fm/O The Anthem.
And I will apologize in advance because I am exhausted.
Well, we're gonna
long weekend.
We're gonna make this one nice and snappy. We're gonna have a snappy podcast. Limited
Don't
to
say that because then we'll be 95 minutes trying to wrap things up.
3.5 hours, and I'm just like, here's the problem with Space Jam.
Did you see Space Jam, by the way?
No, I'm a little bit worried that I'm not going to like it. Because I'm
definitely gonna go see it.
I was gonna say, as I've maintained, I don't know how you explain the whole Space Jam situation when the idea behind the first Space Jam was Jordan is not in the NBA, so he's not one of the 5 best NBA players that the aliens steal, the Monstars steal the talents and abilities of. So, like, how could you make a list of 5 NBA players that you're stealing talents and abilities from, and LeBron James not be one of them? Like, it's not like LeBron's playing baseball right now. And then if there's no Monstars...
It's not the same. It's not the movie.
If it's not Monstars stealing NBA players' talents, then I don't really understand why we're doing this movie, because that's kind of the fun of it to me. It just seems like dumb otherwise, so...
Wait, I just wanted to ask you, since you have moved to the new studio, do you have any wall art up yet?
I put up the picture of Prince, and
oh, okay, all right, but no Time magazine covers or anything.
No, I think that one had its run. It's going to be replaced by something.
Oh,
else.
Okay. Well, I just you're making a lot of movie commentary here, and I just wanted to make sure that we had some context around the movie commentary, because it's a different story. It's in the universe where the first movie actually happened. It's not a reboot. It's continuation of the story. Continuation. Different thing happened.
I haven't examined it too much. I saw trailers. I didn't understand what the hell was happening, and then I was just like, all right, well, I guess when I see it, I'll figure it out. But apparently, people who've seen the movie still don't know what's going on.
Big Chungus is in it. That's all I need to know. I will go see it just for Big Chungus. So I'm down for it. Fuck LeBron, but Big Chungus, I'm in.
I have a very here and there approach on LeBron. Like, I appreciate the great things he does for, like, the school that he built and everything like that. And it seems like he's very, very interested in being a more forward-thinking person than, like, Jordan was, hypothetically, or Kobe. Like, they were just trying to be stars. They weren't trying to be, like, like leaders in the community as much. But at the same time, LeBron does shit that, like, pisses me off constantly. Like the decision.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do such a thing? Like, it seems so narcissistic and unnecessary. But that's another thing. Speaking of narcissistic and unnecessary.
Good transition. So Carl Sagan in 1974 looked at a picture of Voyager 2 and said that he thought that this picture would bring all of mankind together, because it was a picture taken of Earth from Saturn through Saturn's rings, and it was the pale blue dot. And we've reached a new era of space travel now, and now we, just generally speaking, have the pale white dot, and that is the whatever white man has decided to travel into space most recently. And this week, that man was Jeff Bezos, to the cheers of Amazon employees everywhere, because, of course, that 15-minute flight for Jeff Bezos was the first break most of those Amazon workers have had in their entire time working at Amazon. So congratulations, everybody. Now get the fuck back to work.
I mean, have you seen the new Amazon commercials, by the way? Where
Yes,
they talk
I
about
hate
like
all of them.
where they talk about like Amazon is really committed to getting you your next job, which is more of the same line of the McDonald's commercials that they used to air all the time of like watching like the whole staff gets together to watch somebody open up their college acceptance letter, because the idea was McDonald's doesn't want you. Nobody aspires to work at McDonald's for their entire lives. Yeah. Some people do, just because that's the job they can get and that's the one they can hold, and like that's sort of how it happens. But like nobody says like, oh man, I can't wait to start this high school job at McDonald's and then work there for 45 years. So they sort of know that the idea of making an advertisement to say work at McDonald's is going to be largely based off of the transitional nature of it. And Amazon is doing the same thing.
And we want to help you.
Yeah, we want to help you get that next job you really love. In the meantime, we're going to work you to death and treat you like shit, but like we're going to use your best years.
And they were running one of a woman who was like, I had an idea for a women's minority business program. And I was intrigued because I said, I know Jeff Bezos hates women, and I can only assume, based on everything that I see from him, that he hates minorities. So how is it that this program got established? And if you look into it a little bit, they will help you start a business, an Amazon-based business where you sell products on Amazon. And basically it's like, oh, so you can go from working in our warehouse to making your home part of our warehouse and then, selling products from your home instead of coming to work. So
right.
Cool. Interesting fact, this space launch, which was on top of a giant dick and or vibrator, depending on which gender you are. Obviously you had different opinions, cost $2.54 million per minute. That is $2.54 million per minute. And that's just actual cost for the ride. You saw another interesting factoid about the missions as a whole.
Well, I mean, this one was specific to Branson's flight, but I'm sure the numbers,
Branson, the other pale white dot.
I'm sure the numbers on Bezos's will probably end up being similar, if not more. So I imagine the same thing could apply. But the number I had recently heard was the total cost of what it took Richard Branson to like hang out in space for like 15 minutes or whatever it was, could have fed every single person in Africa for a month. Just as like giving you a number of
people are brown, Corey. They don't matter.
Well, yeah, and I mean Richard Branson needs to go to space because he needs to talk about how he did it in his next book on business. So I mean, like,
and he had to do it fast.
I conquer business. I conquer space.
Who was trying to go?
Yeah, I mean clearly.
Trump Airlines going to space next.
I wouldn't mind that because Trump Airlines doesn't, like maybe they just run out of money halfway through and then it just keeps going.
Yeah. No, he doesn't believe in science, so I don't think that he would put it, maybe he would only go to prove that the earth is in fact flat and that lizard people live at the edge and underneath. So, maybe we should tell him that.
Just as it's taken up, believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
By the way, no matter how many times I hear that song, what do you think of when you think of that song?
Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message.
Please leave a message at the beat. I must be out or I pick up the phone. Where could I be?
The funny thing is that's a very age-specific thing. I think only people. I bet you if you started singing that in front of all the people at the office, you would get so many quizzical looks. Like people are like, "What is?"
And they'd be like, "Wait, is that a song from the '70s? Like, I don't reckon it. Who's George?" But yet another example of how Seinfeld would not have a show in 2000 because nobody has an answering machine. Maybe 2000, yes, because we would. At the end of that, George would have been like, "You missed me, call me back," and that would have been it. But
well, there's like the Twitter or something like that where it's like Seinfeld in modern times or something like that, where they talk about like all the Seinfeld episodes that would be based off of today's technology and how things work today.
Well, and that's the what people say is like, oh, Seinfeld wouldn't be a show today. And it's like, yeah, it would. It would be a different show. I mean, it would be the same show about different topics because it's still the same concept. 4 people who are adults, who are friends, and the things that they get into. It was easy to do the like, oh, you lost your car at the mall. Now it would be like Kramer gets run over by his own Tesla when he like goes to like have it come pick him up, right?
Yeah.
Like same show, same concept, different stories.
I mean, Curbed is basically Seinfeld for the day. I mean, like, it's not the same show, but it's certainly sort of like the HBO continuation of the Seinfeld universe, So
yeah. Well, speaking of syndication, here we go again, Corey. Are you ready? It's not the first wave. It's not the second wave or the third wave. It's the 4th wave of COVID.
It's like your own little Oprah moment there. Yeah. So
you get no. God help us. God help us. I will get my Oprah moment where I can just say, you get COVID and you get COVID and you get COVID and you get COVID. Hopefully there's some people who visit your house often.
Well, the news here in Los Angeles County is not good. In the last week,
dire.
We have added 10,000 new cases. I mean, technically it's like 9,783 or something like that, but let's call it 10,000. We're basically there. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this, I think either one of us could have seen coming because we're just about a month outside of when California reopened, when Gavin Newsom got up on the dais and thanked Optimus Prime for all his work. So, I mean, clearly numbers were going to go up slightly because, the mask mandates were gone. Everything was open like it was in the rest of the country. I think part of the problem, though, is that people have this this thought of Los Angeles, and I'm using the term Los Angeles to sort of speak of Los Angeles County.
Oh, okay.
Where people think it's a like liberal bastion, and like people, they think it's like San Francisco. Like it's the exact same place as San Francisco, where it is not.
Well, Corey, I live steps from West Hollywood, and I would disagree. It is a very liberal bastion, where I am.
Parts of it, for sure, for sure are. And there are certainly some very liberal people who live here in Los Angeles, but it's also like, San Francisco has like 80% COVID vaccinations or something like that. LA County is at like 58%, something like that.
Almost worth the $26,000 a month in rent.
Yeah. Also, San Francisco is like, 700,000 people at most, maybe, who can actually fit into that little peninsula up in Northern California. Whereas Los Angeles is, and again, I'm going to, for people who don't know the size of this county, it is somewhere between Michigan and New Jersey in terms of population. And if California, or if Los Angeles just became its own state, Los Angeles County just became its own state, it'd be the 10th or 11th largest state in the country. And California would still remain the most populous state in the country, even losing that 10 million people. Which is,
and I have to throw in there as well. It is geographically a large place as well. Like you could put many eastern states inside of LA County. Maryland would fit inside of LA County.
I don't know if it
Delaware, yeah,
Delaware probably, yeah, but not maybe some of the New England states.
When you think of Maryland, you think of the drive from the beach to Hagerstown. But if you just go by length, the distance, not the driving distance, but like furthest points, I think it would fit in LA County.
I don't think
it's like 2 hours across.
I think if you smushed Maryland into like a square, like an easy,
like a landmass.
Yeah, landmass. It might be easier, because there's no way if you're getting all the way from like Emmitsburg to like Ocean City or something like that. That's That's like a 5-hour drive. Like that's not, but that's also 5 hours because you have to go up through the Appalachian Mountains and then around highways and then go all the way down to come back up and do the Bay Bridge and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, wow.
Like,
yeah, I missed that. I missed that by a long shot. LA County, 4,084 square miles. Maryland, 12,406 square miles.
Yeah.
So Delaware, yes, for sure. Rhode Island, yes. Connecticut probably as well.
Vermont, maybe. Yeah.
Vermont. Yeah, Vermont and Delaware are about the same size geographically.
I mean, it's weird to think of like.
Oh, wait. Oh, here we go. I got this.
It's weird to think of like, because again, Vermont is like tall, so like it would be like it'd be like a weird one to fit into Los Angeles County, but at the same time, I bet you if you squished it into a Los Angeles size shape, it might work. But even then, I still think it's probably bigger.
So Rhode Island, yes. Delaware, yes. Connecticut, just barely are on the edge. It's giving me 3 numbers, and I
for what its size is.
Oh, wait. So that number I gave you of 12,000 includes water square miles. So the Bay is considered part of Maryland for that calculation.
Oh.
So if we're looking just at land, let's see. Let me find Maryland on this list of just land. It drops a lot.
I mean, it'd probably be like 9,000 or something like that.
9,000, yeah. But nonetheless, it would be Rhode Island, Delaware, Connecticut, Hawaii, and coming in between Hawaii and New Jersey. Not Vermont, though. Vermont, surprisingly big.
Yeah.
9,000, just land. So
as big as Maryland. If you lop off the water.
Bigger. Wait. So it is only 500 square miles smaller than Maryland without water. With water, it's, Maryland moves up from 42nd to, good Lord, 17th. 30 spots with water. Thank you, Bay.
Thank you, Chesapeake Bay.
Really.
Parts
can't
of
really
you.
swim in you or do anything, but it's nice.
Just not the Patapsco.
So LA County is huge. Just landmass, population, everything. It's a state. If DC becomes a state, it's going to be bigger than that. Wyoming, not bigger than in landmass, unless it's the parts that people actually want to live. Then way bigger, because nobody wants to live anywhere in Wyoming. Just rationally speaking, I can't say.
I mean, even think about it.
I would not want to live anywhere.
Think about it just this way. So not even Los Angeles County, but just the city of Los Angeles, right? Which is about, give or take, 4 million people, which is included again. Somebody, if you don't know what we're talking about, take a look at City of Los Angeles map as opposed to County of Los Angeles map. Is really weird. It's like the gerrymandered remains of what was Los Angeles County.
Doesn't include. I just said WeHo. Doesn't include WeHo because WeHo's its own city.
Right, much like Beverly Hills is its own city, and Pasadena is its own city, and Santa Monica is its own city, and the City of Industry is its own city. Like, all these places are counted as their own, not as part of Los Angeles. 4 million people in Los Angeles city proper, which is good enough to be the 28th biggest state over Oklahoma and Connecticut and Utah and Iowa and Nevada. Like, so humongous state, and 10,000 new cases, which, if I told you that New Jersey had 10,000 cases this week, you probably wouldn't be shocked and confused by that. But when you hear one county,
I mean, I would be concerned.
You'd be concerned, obviously. I mean, like, any number of cases going up is going to be concerning, but like.
And I would ask, are there a lot of people from New Jersey traveling to, I don't know, Mexico for a vacation where they plan on getting drunk and just hanging out by a pool and bringing home an infection to all of their friends and loved ones? That would be my concern. But
I mean,
anyway,
the good news for me and you and other people that we know and love is that
I ain't got to deal with that bitch no more. Is that the good news?
Is that the numbers here in LA County, again, at the very least, are much better for the vaccinated. There is not a whole lot of people who are hospitalized who are vaccinated. The number of deaths of people who have been vaccinated is very low, like very low in the sense that like there could be a reasonable explanation for why these people died besides just having COVID.
But not zero. And
not zero, but I mean, like,
luckily for us.
Yeah.
Luckily for us, we don't have any other, morbid conditions like being overweight or being a smoker for multiple decades or, having previous cardiovascular problems, being immunodeficient. And none of those things apply to either of us, Corey. So I'm sure we will be fine. Absolutely fine.
Are we, is that your excuse for me to go take a smoke break, or is this oh
yeah. I mentioned cigarettes.
Should we just take it in the middle of the show? I can't. No, I mean, it's nothing to. People like to think of LA County as this bastion of liberal thoughts, but again, 58% or so vaccinated, and the line that has been going on around here is that, like California has said, Newsom specifically has said, if you're vaccinated, feel free to take off the mask. If you're unvaccinated, continue to wear the mask. I have not seen many masks up until recently. It has probably dropped to charitably maybe 10% of people wearing masks out and about, I think.
I feel the same way going around LA that I did in Maryland, where I was wearing a mask and everybody was looking at me like, what the fuck's this guy doing? And that's happening in LA now, but 10,000 new cases in a week. So,
Now, to be fair,
who's laughing now, bitches?
No, but to be fair though, in the last couple days at the very least, I think I've seen the rise of the mask come back. Like, there have been a lot more people wearing masks again. Even though the recommendation from LA has been masks indoors, just wear your mask indoors whether you're vaccinated or not. I think that there is a lot more people who are just like, nah, you know what? I'm just gonna wear the mask all the time. Because for me, like, maybe this is just my personal feeling on it, but I don't really see the point in like carrying the mask around and like putting it in my backpack to fish it out when I'm about to go into a place. Like, why am I not just wearing it? And like, if I see somebody who's like walking down the sidewalk in my direction who's like hacking up a lung, like, I think it just looks a lot weirder if you're like fishing around your bag trying to find your mask all of a sudden, as opposed to you already have it on and you just don't have to worry about it as much. But that's me.
Well, and we are definitely headed to a shutdown. It's the same places that I was reading about a shutdown back in March when people were saying 15th, 20th, we're going to be shutting down too. So don't think that we're going to escape this. We're going to shut down too. They're saying, yes, a shutdown is coming because this is getting out of hand very quickly. And they put the mask mandate on. The sheriff said, oh, we're not going to enforce the mask mandate. And then the only thing they can do now is just shut down again. So we are yet again sacrificing lives on the altar of consumerism. And how many sacrifice? Like, listen, you saw Apocalypto back in the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're basically in the third act of Apocalypto now. It's just like, how many bodies do I have to throw on this goddamn altar to satisfy the gods? And the answer is there's never too many. So long as there's money to spend, we will continue to do that. So
I mean, what the CDC, the Surgeon General, all these institutes have been saying here recently is that this is largely a pandemic of the unvaccinated, I think was the term that was used the other day. And if you look at, the data out there, there is certainly way more people are getting cases in places where the vaccination levels are lower.
Right. But you're looking at a correlation, not a causation.
Oh, no.
The initial statistics are showing about a 40% breakthrough rate for people who are vaccinated. So that means that you have a 60% chance of still being covered by the vaccine with the Delta variant. And as I continue to tell people, as many people who will listen to me, wait until the Vietnamese variant gets here. Just they have it clamped down, but it will inevitably escape. And when it gets here and it kills every person that you love, I want you to look up and I want you to say, Rob, you're right. Please save me. And I will look at you and I will say, no, I will not save you.
I mean, at this,
like that was a line from a movie.
I mean, we need to. I don't know what else can be said to get people fucking serious about it, but it's out there. So,
what is it? Maybe
if you have
friends
not
need to look at friends and they need to say, you're being unbelievably irresponsible. Why would you go do this? It's not as if you're going for some sort of job interview. It's not as if it is necessary. Now is not the time for vacations. I understand it's cheap. I understand that, you're spending every dime you have and you're not currently employed. Maybe now is not the time. And then start making some harsh decisions about cutting people off, sending a message. Instead of voting with your wallet, which is what we do at the stores, you vote some other way. But it's an awkward conversation for people to have. Not me. That's why I have 3 friends. But it is an awkward conversation for normal people to have.
Yeah. Well, one person who's certainly not a friend anymore is Dr. Anthony Fauci and dentist Rand Paul.
Yeah, I would have gone with the
I'd call him Dr. Rand Paul, but I feel dirty doing that because he's not like a
he's not really
a
I
doctor.
would have gone with the
he's like a podiatrist
somebody
or something,
else,
right?
I think he is technically a doctor, but of what I can't really say. But just so you know, Corey, I would have gone with somebody else who's about to have only 3 friends is going to be Dr. Fauci because Dr. Fauci. Yeah, did you find?
It says what kind of doctor is Rand? Oh, Ron Paul. What?
No, Ron Paul's a doctor too. Yeah. So
he's a gynecologist.
Rand Paul?
Ron Paul was.
Okay, yeah. But what about Rand? Rand Paul.
Hold on. Let's see here. I clicked on it. I clicked on an article called "Is Rand Paul a real doctor?" Eye doctor.
Confusing Rand with Paul.
Ophthalmologist.
Now, I got nothing but respect for ophthalmologists, but I'm just saying that, I don't think that an ophthalmologist, if we were on a plane and they said, is there a doctor in the house? An ophthalmologist would stand up first to be like, yeah, bro, me, I'm good.
He's also
that's the kind of thing where you look around and you wait.
He's also not board certified. So, kind of even less than Dr. Drew at this point. Like, at least Dr. Drew is board certified like medicine somehow. Like, it's like like addiction or something like that, right?
He feels qualified to talk shit to Dr. Fauci, who is, the preeminent virologist in our country which leads the world on the subject of virology. The guy who 2 administrations and 2 different parties chose to lead the effort against this deadly virus. Rand Paul, ophthalmologist, gonna get the truth.
Yeah.
And also got his ass kicked by his neighbor in a fight over a fence. So
yeah,
just putting that out there as a reminder.
I just I hear people talk about the Wuhan coronavirus lab and everything like that. And I look at them and I'm like, I don't know. Like, sure. Like, I could 100% see how there would be evidence at some point of something that started there and caused this whole thing to happen. And I can totally see a world where that information comes out. It's really hard to get information out of China, especially in the age where, it's not like super cool to like fly around the world and try and investigate this sort of stuff.
Also,
so like,
who cares how it started? I mean,
get
these guys to agree on how to deal with it right now.
No, I mean, like, I would definitely care if there was like, a conversation that happened. Like, this is a we're going to expose this to the world and kill everyone else, kill America because fuck them. But like, this literally affected China too. So it'd be like America made a nuclear bomb big enough to kill everyone on Earth. And it's just like, haha, we just dropped it on North Korea. And it's like, well, yeah, but that also kills all of America as well. So maybe that wasn't a great idea. Like, you know, like
this but the guys who matter are going to be in their bunkers. So, you know,
I mean, it to me, it just like, you know, sure, maybe I guess that the Wuhan lab could be responsible for a lot of things, but it seems like the people who are going out there talking about the specific facts that they found out about this thing are like trying to grasp like any little straw they can to like hold on to this like lab theory, it's like you've decided beforehand, like this is this is how it happened. Now I'm just trying to find all the strings that pull it together.
Oh well, that's how QAnon works, by the way. Just I have a fact. Now I need to find the evidence that supports that fact.
Well, it's you know, that's also like a common problem in like police investigations and stuff like that, where like the police say, oh, this wife died, it has to be the husband. And then you start looking for all the evidence that ties the husband to the wife's death. Meanwhile,
and ignoring
you're not looking at anything that could potentially point to anybody else because you're so focused on the one theory that you've worked up.
Right.
So again, I'm not saying that the husband didn't do it. I'm just saying perhaps we should look at all the evidence and then figure it out as we get the evidence, as opposed to just trying to fit this one into a box, you know, like.
And also, I my point is, if there's somebody on the loose with a gun, let's not worry about how exactly the person died. Like, well, I mean, this person strangled, yes, but there is somebody out there with a gun that we need to worry about. This is the pressing situation. Let's not focus on that. But
well, where did he get that gun? It's like, perhaps let's stop the guy with the gun first, and then we can ask those questions later. Like, it's not going to keep him from having the gun, so maybe let's focus on the stuff we can control at the moment.
This is the Benghazi, though. Like, as a reminder, they do not want to be part of the tribunal on January 6th. They don't want to talk about any of the nonsense that would happen during the election or after. They don't want to pass a transportation bill. They don't want to do a lot of things. But what they do want to do is to talk about how COVID started in a lab that may or may not have been funded or gotten funding from the NIH. It's Benghazi all over again. Let's find a thing that we can just prick at and hope that we get something out of. And while we're talking about that, we're not talking about a bunch of stuff that we don't want to talk about. Almost like your old Fox News, not new Fox News. But almost like your Fox
News. New Fox News is worried about getting sued, apparently, because shit's gone a little crazy here in the last. So there was a report that just came out this week about how Fox has basically created a vaccine passport system where they insist that all the on-air talents and people who come to work at the Fox News building be vaccinated or go through extremely strict testing schedules. All of the Fox News hosts that anyone could be watching or care about is vaccinated. Yep. Tucker, Sean Hannity, and Laura Ingraham.
Comrade Carlson coming on his show, just spreading the good words. I'm so surprised. I'm still shocked by that.
Apparently, Tucker Carlson on a show last week was saying that the big corporations who made out like bandits during the pandemic should help pay for all the all the stimulus and the things that were done to help prop up the people who lost their jobs and stuff. And I feel like Tucker must have just gotten Maddow's script by mistake or something like that and just started reading it out.
Or one of two things has happened. Either one, he is now his new mistress is like a leftist, because you and I both know you start saying some weird, crazy shit when there's a piece of ass involved that you really want to impress. Like, hey, no, she really needs us to pick her up. Come on, let's go. No, fuck that bitch. Let's go home. Oh, come on, let's go pick her. 90 minutes.
Yeah.
That happens. Or the other alternative is that the computer program that is running our universe has glitched and it forgot which side of the aisle they were supposed to be on. In either event, I've already been going through an existential crisis, Tucker. I need you to pick a goddamn lane. If I have to decide whether or not I agree with you and I come out on the positive side, that may be the last straw. I don't know if I can continue to live in a world where Tucker Carlson and I are ideologically similar.
I mean, I think you know what the problem is with people like Tucker Carlson, and to an extent, like up until recent, maybe pre-Trump, I would say this held true a lot more. Is the problem is if you would
said
ever,
I couldn't threaten anybody's life this week, Corey. Don't bring up these topics if I can't threaten people's lives.
I'm saying at least pre-2016, if you had if you listened to a interview with Tucker Carlson, or you listened to Ben Shapiro, or you listened to who was the other one who was like really popular then? Oh, Milo Yiannopoulos or whatever.
Oh yeah, Yiannopoulos, who's now a leftist.
If you like listened to them just like talking to somebody random, like just doing like a sit down interview with somebody, you wouldn't say to yourself, oh, I agree with, or I disagree with 100% of what this guy says. You would, like every once in a while he would stumble into a point that you somewhat agree with. Like it's not, it's not like he's the diametric opposite of you, but at the same time, like everything he says is for the purpose of.
You would not.
No, I'm saying I
Go ahead. Sorry, no, finish your thought.
No, I'm just saying, like, like at some point he would stumble into a point that you would at least casually agree with, perhaps. And the idea is that not everything
you would agree. I would never agree. That would never happen. The only thing that connects Milo Yiannopoulos and me is my fist outside of some kind of protest in Washington, D.C. That's the only connection we have.
All right, let's move on. Hey, do you know the midterms are coming up?
Oh, I heard. Yeah. Well, I feel like we're a little late since it's July of the year coming before the actual election. Isn't it time we geared up for that election? How are we going to spend $200 billion if we don't get started before now?
Oh man, I just don't get why. I don't get why they'd bring it up. Like, like, think of the shittiest employee you've ever worked with. Don't say their name out loud. I don't want to get somebody in trouble. But I'm just saying, think of the shittiest employee you've ever worked with, right? Like, wouldn't it not be in their best interest to say, like, a year ahead of their performance review, it's just like, man, aren't I doing a great job? I hope someone's taking notes. like, no, if you are a Republican or a Democrat who is expecting me to get enthusiastic and voting for you, I wouldn't bring up the midterms, because y'all haven't been doing such a great job of making me like super excited to like get back into voting. Like, like I just don't feel like
the problem is that those guys, the shitty employees, much like Congress, are essentially real life versions of that meme of the guy who's like shaking the champagne and biting the metal, and then you realize he's standing in the 4th place spot on the podium. Like, they think they're doing the best job ever, and that everyone should congratulate them. When in reality, they are the shitty employee.
Yeah.
Much like the, hey, every group chat has a side group chat without the annoying people. And if you don't know that is a fact, I have some bad news for you. Like, yeah, every shitty employee thinks they're excellent. If you think the shitty employees don't think they're excellent, possible that you're the shitty employee. I'm just gonna say, like,
Now I'm a little bit worried. I'm the shitty employee. Am I not in the group?
No, you're in the group chat. We have to, I mean,
I guess a group chat without me is just you and Roberto texting one another, which isn't like.
We do. We have the side chat from the side chat, but you're in the first spawn, not the second spawn. Though that's the
but the second spawn is just an individual text message with somebody else. Like,
it's a DM. Yeah, it's in the DM. Like, we talk about nothing you'd be interested in anyway. It's guns and Call of Duty. That's it.
Like, every once in a while, I text you too. Like, it's like not like Roberto's not allowed.
Well, yeah, sorry. It's guns and Call of Duty and girls that Roberto says he wants to cheat on his girlfriend with, but doesn't actually have the balls to cheat on her with. And even if he had the opportunity, he wouldn't, but he's going to say that he does and then treat her like shit. Anyway, so producer Roberto, looking forward to his return to the show. That's all I'm saying about that topic. Congress.
Yes, I just don't know why. It's not like, to me, either the Republicans or the Democrats have done outstanding things that warrant me like getting super excited. Like, I still haven't even gotten back into watching news the way I was during the Trump era, mostly because, during the 2016 to 2020 time, I could wake up on any morning and have the potential of an armed insurrection
Nuclear
or, some sort of like constitutional crisis on my hands, and I needed to be aware of it. Thank God Biden is a little bit more boring, and therefore I don't need to constantly be abreast of the news. But I also kind of burned out. Like, I just sort of needed to like not care that much about what was going on in the Congress for a little while. At the same time, it's not like they've taken this opportunity to to do all this great work. Like, sure, they passed the third stimulus. That was fine. And the vaccinations have been going okay. Like, not up to the 70% by July 4th number that was originally set forward, but still
open the country though, so that's good. Good for you guys. But no, I got good news for you, Corey, because things are about to get very much heel turn in Congress, because there is nothing like the Republicans agreeing to a bill, everyone going to the White House, we sit down, we negotiate, we find common ground, and then that bill comes up for a vote, and you say, we're not voting for it. I don't know how this stuff got in this bill, but we're not voting for this bill. Like, bro, you helped write it. This is your bill. How are you not going to vote for your bill? But they're not going to vote for it. So, heel turn. Here it comes.
A tale as old as time.
And as we've been talking about for years now, what Mitch is going to do is he's going to go back to the bargaining table, and his starting position is where you met him in the middle. I mean, your starting position needs to be where you met him in the middle. He's going back to the beginning and saying, well, you were going to give us this, so now we need to move further. Like, okay. And they'll do it, and they'll try to get this damn bill done. And Joe Manchin, oh, wait, I can't. You said I can't threaten the lives of senators. Joe Manchin is a senator, and despite the fact that the entire Texas legislature came to see him, just basically like, I mean, I got to worry about re-election. Joe, you don't have to worry about re-election. You're not going to get re-elected. So do some good work now. Fuck them. Go home. Retire. All right. Take your millions and go retire, and then move next to Rand Paul and then punch him across the fence.
I mean, the worst part
That's not a threat. It's an instruction to another senator.
I mean, if one senator punches another senator, I think it's a problem. I think that's
historically, they've handled that with a handshake on the floor of the Senate, because one guy beat another guy with a cane on the floor of the Senate, and the senators all came up with the we're gonna have an apology and a handshake, and we're gonna call it done. I'm like, no charges? Beat him with a cane. Like, well, no, I'm reading this in a history book, but yes, but no, we're gonna shake hands and call it even.
If I beat the shit out of somebody at work, it wouldn't end like that.
Got to get elected to the Senate.
Yeah, clearly. It's amazing to me. There was somebody talking about like how the stakes on Supreme Court justices is so much higher now. Like, it used to be that a Supreme Court decision would come out, and even if you politically didn't like it, you would sort of say to yourself, like, all right, well, these are the jurists, and this is how they ruled, and blah, 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 and I got to live with the response, or, live with what happened. And now it's more political than ever, and more people are upset with individual justices for how they vote on certain things, and, there was something about, Kavanaugh got screamed at by somebody at a restaurant or something like that. Like, that would never have happened to like Brandeis or something like that. Like they want to go hunting for the guy to just yell at him or whatever. But at the same time, like Joe Manchin is going to eventually lose the Senate seat, like probably to a Republican in West Virginia.
Yeah.
But it's not like at the end of this whole thing, like his life will be ruined and he's going to have to live on the street and his family will disown him or something like that for all the shit he pulled. Like, he's just going to get a 7-figure deal at whatever the largest law firm in West Virginia is, where he's going to show up
or DC, because he has a house in DC.
Or, show up once a month for whatever partner meeting he has to show up to, and cash his checks and get a share of the profits of the firm and whatever happened, and he'll die a rich old man, and nothing will change. Like, there's no level of like shame that these, like, I would love nothing more if Dianne Feinstein had to just like fucking move to the middle of Wyoming to avoid all the shame that she would feel from all the people in the state that she lives. Like, that would make me happy to know that she's
gonna die in that seat, bro.
Oh, I know she's gonna die in that seat. That's the problem. And then as soon as she does, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my God, Dianne Feinstein, the one who fucking started it all and the greatness and blah blah blah." And I'm just like, no, she fucked up all the time. Like, no, she was constantly wrong. Like,
well,
anyway.
I hope that several other congressmen are listening to your advice our advice about what to do, because several congressmen are on what I have taken to call the "I used to be in Congress" tour, which has another name. What was the other name for that tour?
Like the America First tour or whatever.
Yeah. Starring Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene, two people who will probably not be in Congress very long, maybe till the next election, maybe, especially for Matt Gaetz, depending on how the FBI's investigation is going.
Something tells me that Marge ends up surviving for a little while. Like, she's using her name as ability to put herself in a position to raise money and continuously hold that seat for as long as she wants. I really do think that.
Well, no, so
short of her doing anything that like gets her arrested or something like that, like, I don't think there's really a way that she loses that seat in like super deep red northeast or northwest Georgia.
Apparently, there is a more logical Trump Republican who's less QAnon-y and more just like Trumpy, who is either in the race or people think he's going to join the race. And it's just like, surprisingly, she may get taken down by somebody on the left of her, not really on the left, but to the left of her.
Right.
And it's a candidate who maybe the old Republicans will be like, well, at least it's not Marjorie Taylor Greene, and people who are just like, what is this woman saying? We'll have somebody to vote for. So,
I mean,
that's about the only way she could lose.
Without Trump on the ballot in 2020, I think a lot of these Republicans are going to have to look long and hard into what type of party they want to have. And I don't know if like the Trumpites are necessarily going to come out of the woodwork to vote like they would in 2020 in the 2022 midterms. And if like the Democrats picked up seats for whatever reason, like hypothetically, in like House and the Senate, then perhaps
the first time ever.
yeah, during the midterm of a incumbent Democratic presidency, then perhaps the Republicans would have to look long and hard at themselves in the mirror and say, oh, so all this Trump stuff is really fucking us as it turns out, and maybe we should run away from it. But if that sort of thing happened, if like, for whatever reason the Democrats picked up 20 seats in the House or something like that, even with gerrymandering and blah, 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 then I imagine Marjorie Taylor Greene probably is losing anyway in that sort of a race and that sort of a climate. So
yeah,
it really just depends on like where the pulse of the Republican electorate is really by the time 2022 rolls around. If they're still leaning hard into Trump stuff and it equals them winning seats, then they're going to continue leaning into it. If they lose seats, even if they split even, that sort of feels like a loss for the Republicans at this point.
Yeah,
with how they
should be picking up seats.
They should be picking up seats. There's no way, without even doing anything different, they should pick up seats just off of the way things look like they're lining up. And the Senate map is really tough. So we'll know pretty quick whether or not this experiment is long for this world.
You mean the democratic experiment of this country? Because I'm going to say we're bordering on failed state at this point.
I mean, I think that part's still that's not immediately going to happen. We can all see the lines of starting on that one, but not necessarily. I was talking more about the Trumpism Republican experiment. I think that would be the first one we'd see fall per se.
Okay.
If it succeeds, then yes, the Democratic experiment, small d Democratic experiment, is probably over too, because I don't know how much more this can take. It's a load-bearing wall that you've decided to park a Camaro into. So,
well, if people want to experiment in their own lives, Corey, where might they find some guidance on that in the online sphere?
No, just a little old website called OTheAnthem.com. Corey at OTheAnthem.com. O The Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595. You can find more of me at website CoreyBakerFilmmaker.com, Facebook.com/CoreyBakerFilm, at LegendsCB5 on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Are you ready for this, Rob?
Always a good start when it's a.
Are you ready for this one? I filmed something.
New video this week.
I filmed something last week, and I'm putting it together. So keep an eye out for it.
Nice.
Nice. I decided to celebrate Mental Health Awareness Month, which was May, by making a video in July about working in the film industry with ADHD. So that will be coming up shortly. I didn't want to have it lost within the shuffle of podcast stuff, so saving it for later this week. But go check that out when it comes out. So yay, content.
Very nice. Well, of course, you can find more of me at Robert and Cheek on all your social networks. I neglected to schedule a video to come out on Monday, and I was on vacation, so fuck it. So I have some stuff that's going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks, but I also had the opportunity to talk to some young budding revolutionaries while I was in Maryland, and I realized I have a really simple way to try and convert people to the cause, and that'd be my cause, of course. And I'm gonna do up a video this week at some point, and when I'm more well rested and not jet lagged and been up for 19 hours, and that will come up later this week. I won't wait till Monday for unboxings and reviews, and the video this week will be sometime midweek, maybe Friday, maybe a nice weekend video of like, hey, do you want to overthrow your government? Here is a nice video about that. So that'll be coming. But of course, you can check out the website, robertandcheek.com, for links to everything and all the stuff that's coming, which is a whole lot of nothing. Nothing like having conversations with people about like the Stewie and Brian conversation. Like, yeah, how's that writing coming? How's that writing coming? Like, oh yeah, I haven't written anything in a long time. Thought the pandemic was going to be like, great, I'm going to get to write. And then I wrote nothing. Good news for everybody, though. With this second lockdown coming, I am very hopeful that I'll be able to write something during the next 18 months of lockdown. So,
well, you know, I keep looking, I keep waiting for the cases to go down so that the two of us could take a couple days in Vegas and just hammer out some pages. But it never seems appropriate enough to bring up at the time.
2025 is looking real good for that, I think.
All right. Well, I think we've done good here today.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good. But as always, you're listening to the O The Anthem podcast, part of the O The Anthem digital network. For Corey, this is Rob. Have a great week, everybody.
Arrivederci.
Somebody's life. In the last few seconds, I can't just threaten somebody's life. No?
YouTube will not be pleased. So
we must serve the YouTube gods.